The Gospel of the two sisters, Martha and Mary, falls well on this new feast of our own dear John Henry Newman. Why? He combined in himself, in a brilliant way, the contemplative, the meditative, the listener, with the active, because throughout his life he was sharing the word, diffusing grace, constructing even buildings where that could happen, huge buildings, beautiful buildings. I can think of 3 at least: Birmingham Oratory, the Brompton Oratory, and here nearby what could have been the oratory in Dublin, and which has remained the University Church. He went back to Birmingham in 1858, and so it did not become actually an oratory. But he was aware of the power of evangelization, of good liturgy, and even an uplifting building. He was a contemplative at heart, able to sit at length with the word and let it minister to him and through his heart to the heart of his listeners and writers. He was aware of the power of time and of tradition, that tradition which brought him back to his roots instinctively, the fathers, which he spent time translating from Latin and Greek into dignified English. I adore you, O Lord, he writes, in this your proper sanctity and everlasting purity, for that all your blessedness comes from within, and nothing touches you from without. I adore you as infinitely blessed, yet having all your blessedness in yourself. I adore you in that perfect and most holy knowledge of yourself, in which we conceive the generation of the Word. The Word. In Bangor we had all his words, volumes and volumes. He always wrote a copy of every letter he sent off. And so all his letters we have, and they are vast in number. Karen, who was with us at university and became a Catholic while she was there, would be spending her time reading his volumes and volumes, for she was doing her thesis on the concept of authority in Newman. We were not sure whether he would get there. What was our joy when some years ago the only beatification done personally on the spot by the Pope, then reigning, actually happened in Birmingham itself. And we know that Pope Benedict would have wanted him one day to be proclaimed saint because of his importance with regard to theology. And his hope would have been then, we know, that he would be proclaimed Doctor of the Church. We pray that that will yet happen. They say that it was the greatest gift that the Anglican Communion gave to the Catholic Church, John Henry Newman. What is less known is that he was actually a very good and holy Anglican parson before. The quality of his preaching at the Church of St. Mary the Virgin in Oxford University preaching place was something else. He did not raise his voice or have the need for gestures. He wrote them well and delivered them well, and the power of the word was enough. With regard to his involvement in the Oxford movement, he and others with him were interpreting the 39 Articles of the Anglican prayer book in a very Catholic way. And when it came to the famous Tract 90, there was a backlash and it became uncomfortable. The Apologia Pro Vita Sua gives step by step the account of what actually happened. It would seem that the last straw, actually unexpectedly, was the appointment of a bishop by Parliament in Jerusalem to be overseeing Anglicans and all Protestants. Newman saw the significance of that historically and realized the nonsensical position of the Anglican Church. The position that they were trying up until then to defend was that of the branch theory. It was a branch of the one holy Catholic Church. But he gradually saw, as we can see from the Tractatus that he wrote, while still an Anglican, the essay on the development of Christian doctrine, how actually his thought was going against his initial will to clearer light, that kindly light which brought him home. Logically, he could see where it had to lead. And therefore we have such powerful words as these regarding what he was seeing clearly after the step. You may make 10,000 extracts from the Fathers and not get deeper into the state of their times than the paper you write upon. To imbibe into the intellect the ancient church as a fact is either to be a Catholic or an infidel. Some years ago I was singing Holy Mass in the university church which he built using his chalice in the old rite actually, and it was very moving. One felt how time was standing still. One felt also the solicitation of calm, unhurried and unviolent grace. After getting home, I wrote these words. Lead, kindly light. There are some moments marked with other things that are not made of earth, whose worth is such that unto wandering seconds something clings, which all the hours to be can calmly touch. I have stood there where stood a heart I know, and held a hand still loud in poise. And I heard, holding high and bending low, in gestures old, of all the oldest noise. For silence is the language of this place, and hurriedness holds still. For there's a while to waste in halted haste beneath this face. But thou, my friend, dost see, there where the smile is not of but an angel, but of him whom here, here, thou too